Okay, I'm a sucker for the blondes, I suppose. This one's a maple. Sorry about the harsh light. It's still pretty early morning here. Maple BL-22 Browning. I think there's only been one of these in the family, and we haven't used it much. Just a black one, but they do well. It's Browning, right? All their stocks are magnificent. Their workmanship is awesome. You know, and there's whatever degree of engraving on these. But I like the two tones of everything. They're beautiful. These are the first shots fired here. Oh yeah, and then the few things I've read about these, this has the integral rail for mounting a scope, but then I understand that the short receiver length is kind of a non-standard size, so it gets a little hinky where you're trying to find like rings, because they'll be either a cantilever or you know, a half an inch apart from each other. So I think it's a little tricky to find the proper scope mounts for these, but there's a lot of cool mounts available. They just got to be willing to pay for them. All right, first shot's up. Go ahead. Oh yeah, and the 33-degree lever, that's the other, you know, complete uniqueness.
Pulled off.
Which one you aiming at?
The top one.
All right, what do you think about that short stroke? Oh, he still got some more.
Yep, this is good extras.
I think this is like a 15 shooter. Guess I should look that up too. Oh, this is like a Hollywood gun. You just keep shooting. Oh, there we go.
Finally empty.
What do you think?
Oh, that's nice. That short stroke's pretty easy.
Because you got the Ruger, which one's that? The 98?
96.
96? And that has the same short stroke?
Yep. No, this is way better.
You like that?
Yeah, way better. It's smooth.
Well, it's funny because the short stroke, I think, is probably a speed advantage, but it's also just something you have to get used to, because you've got that entirely long, complete stroke on the Henrys. And for a little tiny short cartridge, it seems excessive.
No,
but
that was nice.
Good. Well, let's go check the target. First shot's fired here. Yeah, I'd say so. That's offhand, 25 yards. So yeah, there's some really nice little clusters here. Yeah, that's great. So did you have any trouble with the sight? Because I had to paint the front sight.
It took me a minute to get used to it, but once you get it, it's just kind of a small bead.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the paint on there helped.
Yeah, I just do that. It's just old-fashioned, I don't know if I can focus that, Tester's model paint. It's an ancient bottle, and it comes off, you know, pretty regularly, but I don't care. A little touch-up with a paper clip and you're back in shape. But I think that makes a big difference on acquisition.
It helps, for sure. It is.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the weight on this one's...
It's substantial.
Yeah.
The one thing I was going to say about this Browning versus the Henry, Browning has this very unique loading mechanism on their tube where you just push that button and it just locks in place in any direction, where Henry has the, I don't know if that's in focus or not, it has that O-ring, and I found that to be the weak link. I wish they wouldn't do that, but you know, you just leave them in your, you know, storage, and then you pull them out one day and you find out your O-ring snapped, or you get in a case and you get out in the field and it's like, oh, okay, you're shut down just because of a cheap, I don't know what those cost, like a half a cent in reality or less. But I think that's a weak link. I wish they would upgrade to something similar. I'm sure you pay for these, because these are, the Brownings compared to the Henrys are still substantially more money. But I think that's kind of a gap, actually. The other thing too on the Browning, I noticed it in the sunshine here, I wish they would quit doing this. Winchesters and Brownings, they put these big adhesive stickers on here. I noticed that one. I didn't get all the goop off of it. They muck up these beautiful guns with their big advertising thing. Why can't you do like a tag like everybody else? Just put it on a loop and a string. So I'll have to get that caca off of there.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to take a knee again, just because it's my best position. Going for the bottom target. All right, I can feel a little difference in resistance loading that last one, so I actually suspected it was out. But so far, I actually really like the lever. You know, I've seen some people say, oh, the trigger this or that. I'm not even aware of whether my finger was in the loop or not. It probably was out, because people say, oh, sometimes you can pinch your finger, whatever. I don't think so, because I think your finger is supposed to be out of the area when you're doing that. But I do like that quick action. That was pretty impressive. I wasn't sure how I'd like that. Seems like an interesting design, but yeah, it's fast and simple.
No, it was nice and smooth.
Well, and the truth is, you know, at least at this stage of my life, when I make my purchases, not always, but generally, I look at these things as like being able to pass it on for generations. There's no reason why these wouldn't last like 100 more years, like all the original Winchesters and all the, you know, the old ones that are still there, and be fully functional. Maybe it's a little over the top with the blingy approach to it. It's still a really, really great gun, but so are all the Henrys and the Rossies and the Tauruses and some of those other 22s that the Rugers that we've been had over the years. The experience has been great, and the next generation of shooters, I'm really excited to be able to pass these things on down the road once I'm done.
Absolutely.
Oh, there we go. There's my 15 shots, so I'm hitting distinctly low. I guess you're a little bit on the low side too, for that matter. But that could just be me getting used to the sight. You know, everybody has their own preferences of the, what did you call it, the pumpkin on the post?
Yeah.
Or whether you hold over the target. I guess it's whatever you like. But for first shots fired ever, I'm pretty impressed. And just from a knee, and that's from shooting offhand. I think your group's better than mine for shooting offhand. But yeah, I would definitely recommend already any 22 that you get, because it's cheap to shoot now. Maybe a little more expensive. What is it, $10 a box right now?
What do they want? Almost $50 if you buy them online.
Yeah.
For 525 rounds.
No, that's offensive, considering I remember buying Mohawks for $5 a carton.
But Cabela's has the herders every once in a while for like $22 a carton.
Yeah.
So that's not so bad.
But as opposed to like trying to find 223 ammo just for out shooting anthills and coyotes, or
well, the 40 caliber, the 200 rounds for $89.99.
Yeah. Now some of that stuff's ridiculous, but you know, the 22s, if you can find them, and you know, they provide ample enjoyment.
Dig in your closet. Everybody has some.
Everybody's got some under the car seat.
They were holding them too with coats on.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of those things are definitely considerations. One thing that we were just talking about, if you line up these two rifles where you have kind of the plane of how you sight, you know, these are kind of aligned, you can see. What we noticed is I had a harder time getting my cheek down enough with this one, because it appears that it's, you know, maybe like a half an inch higher. I don't know what you call this part of the gun, but you know, this one had no problem getting a good sight alignment, a lock on my cheek. This one, I felt myself pushing my cheek almost like as hard as I could to get my face down there to where I could see through the sighting. There's probably an easy remedy for that, but if you got bigger cheekbones, then it's something to consider. But yeah, look at this. I think there's a pretty big difference in these two, you know, just the way the stocks are designed. the geometry of that with your face. But this one came up easier, I would say. This one, well, they're both great, but it seemed like I had a little harder time getting a good sight picture. I had to work at it, where the other one was more automatic. Did you see that too?
Yeah, I did.
But anyway, neither one of them are going to get sold, so they're both keepers.